Shalom. Call halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rakaha Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. To the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that look like those heathen. This is not a black thing, right? To the 144,000 that are scattered, all right? To the few Wakwaf that are listening and learning. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago. And special shout out to Zahar Yahawada for this beautiful book that the brother sent me yet again. Can never thank you enough, brother. We should, shower you with gifts in the kingdom when we get to the other side. And the way things are going, that won't be long. But just going to talk about the hijacking of the Israelite culture, of the, by Esau Edom, going back as far as, at the time of the Renaissance, basically. Because Esau Edom has, hidden who he was. And now it's in that time when he's being revealed. As a matter of fact, let's get that. Second Thessalonians. And this is kind of like a recap on a series that I did on critical race historical facts. Decided to do this one on Maccabean spirit. Just a recap, to touch on some words and definitions that I didn't as I explore into this book. So I'm just going to read, once again, I'm going to read portions of pretty much the whole, the cover of the book. They usually put you an overview of what the book is about, the intros. All right, so I'm gonna read those. But Second Thessalonians. Two and 8. Now I'm gonna start at verse 1. I'm gonna read 1 through 3, then jump up to 8, and it reads: Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto Him, and being the fact of the mass awakening happening, here in America and throughout the world, of the Israelites waking up in Babylon, which is prophesied that they will wake up. So any people that's claiming to have been the people of the Lord all along, that would be false, because the Israelites had to lose their heritage, forget who they were, or have their heritage stripped from them. And that's exactly what happened to the Sephardim. The actual Sephardim were, you're going to find out who they are and who they were. Okay? And who they are today. Right? And they're basically their whole existence has been hijacked by the Ashkenazi. All right? And then of course, controlling the narrative, they're making all these other people the Sephardim, but the real Sephardim are being looked past. All right, but it says that ye may not soon be shaken in mind, or by trouble, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, that for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. The Israelites had to fall away from their heritage, away from their power, away from the Lord. All right? And that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The man of perdition has been revealed. All right? The world now knows who Esau Edom is, which is why they're desperately trying to shut down, control the narrative, come with the anti-Semitic bills and all these other things. Because the real real threat to them is simply the truth. And the only people that are telling the absolute truth are the Hebrew Israelites, and primarily the men of the Great Millstone. All right, there's no doubt in my mind we're at the top of that list because a lot of these other camps have took the bag, these 501c3 charter camps. You call yourself an Israelite and you got a 501c3 charter, those people, that leadership of those groups have been completely and totally compromised. All right. Jumping down to verse 8. Then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. All right. And the spirit of the Lord's mouth are the prophets, the men of the Lord, the men of the Great Millstone, and the offshoot camps that teach the likewise doctrine. All right. Those are the true men of the Lord today. So now let's get into this book. All right. And start at the back. It says the Sephardim in the Americas. So we're talking about North, South, Central America. All right. It says Studies in Culture and History, edited by Martin A. Cohen and Abram J. Peck. The story of the Sephardic JOOs. I hate that word. We'll call them the Sephardic Israelites. All right. In the Americas, because you got to remember, Abraham was not a Jew. Isaac was not a Jew. Jacob was not a Jew. Abraham was a Hebrew. Isaac was a Hebrew. And Jacob was a Hebrew. All right. And then Jacob had 12 sons. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And Jacob's sons became the Israelites, the 12 patriarchs. All right. And just like the apostle said before I continue reading, the Apostle Gabar and the issue with the Bible to the problem with the Bible to Edom, that it completely and totally exposes them. All right. And he came up with a list of things, 5 things, simple things, reasons. Reminds me of my 7 questions that none of them have answered yet, which is really aimed at Vocab Malone more so than anyone else. All right. But it says, it reveals who the Israelites are and foretells their future. That's the number one reason. And through prophecy and through history, especially when you're filtering it through Deuteronomy 28th chapter and through the curses on the Israelites in the Bible, it's easy to see that, you can't make the event that took place with 6 million people during World War II meet those prophecies. It just doesn't do it. Remember, there was 79 other million people that died. All right. So you can't do that. Number 2, the number 2 reason is that it reveals who the Edomites are and foretells their future. All right. Number 3, the Bible prophesied America's destruction. All right, which would be the Babylon the Great, the new spiritual Egypt, the new spiritual Babylon, the new spiritual Syria, all that. All right, taking on all those places where the spirit of all the places where the Israelites were mistreated horribly. Number 4 is it endorses patriarchy. All right, and they don't like that because the Bible, pushes that and teaches that a man can have multiple wives, that we could be, be fruitful and multiply. All right, and then number 5. It condemns sexual immorality, and which is connected to witchcraft, and Edom is heavy into witchcraft. Therefore, sexual immorality in the Americas is rampant and has been here all along. All right, and sometimes it even, sexual immorality ends in death for a lot of people, especially children. All right. So now that we've got that out the way, let's continue to read. It says, edited by Sephardim in America, Studies in Culture and History, edited by Martin A. Cohen and Abraham J. Peck. The story of Sephardic Israelites in America is a part of the largest saga that began in the Iberian Peninsula. I have lots of books about the Jacobites in the Iberian Peninsula, under the Roman Empire, and eventually became intertwined with the history of the Israelites communities throughout Europe, or became intertwined with the history of the Jewish communities throughout Europe. See, I'm making a separation. Asia and Africa, Sephardic Israelites represent one of the two major currents in Jewish life. The other being Ashkenazic, although the Sephardim were more numerous than the Ashkenazim until the beginning of the 18th century. Their distinctive culture and legacy have received proportionally less attention and recognition. And the purpose of the collection of the essays, all the leading scholars of Sephardic studies, is to document it, to reappraise the important but little studied cultural heritage of the Sephardic Israelites, with a special focus on the impact of the Jewish life in the New World. So basically, the Sephardic contributions to the Americas was hijacked by the Jewish, who now proclaim it to be them. Because you got to remember, just like when they started using the Assyrian script, the Israelites from the time of the fall of Rome, from the Maccabees all the way up to the fall of Rome, evidence shows that they wrote in the ancient form of Hebrew. All right, the converts, the Ashkenazi converts who converted, and there's too much history on that to prove it, even written by their own people. Off the Costa being just one of many to speak on it, historians to speak on it. When they converted to Judaism in the 6th, 7th century, when they were learning to they had no language. Hence the reason why their language is Yiddish based. All right, German, Slavic, based language written in Hebrew characters. All right, that's the definition that I have. That's in the Winston Simplified Dictionary Encyclopedia edition with biblical references, 1933, 1925. All right, Yiddish is explained as being a German Slavic language written in Hebrew characters, and it's not even the real Hebrew. They use the Assyrian script, wherein the southern kingdom, the house of David, never went into the Assyrian captivity. There's no evidence of that. There's no history of that. Right, and there is history of the southern kingdom, the kingdom of Judah. They were reading and writing in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Phoenician form. So the fact that these people even use that other form of Hebrew is an evidence against them. All right, that's an evidence against them, because they were able to manipulate that. They couldn't really manipulate the ancient language the same way. And then another thing that would have exposed them is the fact that the natives that were here in America were reading and writing. All right, they had relics proving that they were reading and writing and keeping Hebrew customs using the very language that the house of Judah did in the ancient world, making that connection. So it would have been hard to pull that off. The fact that the people here that you were committing a genocide on, taking their land, and in some cases sending them into captivity, reclassifying them as Negroes, and then sending them into captivity with the Negroes, it would have been a very difficult thing to pull that off. All right. So then we refer back to this letter that Benjamin Franklin wrote. Okay. And I'll read that real quick, and then I'm going to look at these definitions to show the evidences. All right. So let me find this here. I think this is it. So I just bookmarked it. It's just in my phone. Keep it, because this isn't too important. I can't even believe, be honest with you, that they still have this up on the internet. I'm assuming that they will pull it down. I'm going to have to, maybe I have to go to DuckDuckGo. But the fact that this is still up on the internet is amazing, because this is a very harmful piece of information to Esau Edom. This letter that he wrote, because it matches up with everything we're about to read. But paragraph 24 of observations of concerning the increase of mankind, 1751. So in his eyes, the increase of mankind is only increasing this new form of mankind, which is fraudulently called white. Remember, in 1681 in Virginia is where they began to refer to themselves as white. So let's see what my first definition is. Moreno. Let's pull that one up. All right. Because it tells you right here in their book that I'm back in the book, Sephardim in Americas, before I read Ben Franklin's insert. It says in the year 19, where am I trying to get to? Here we go. While the mainstream America celebrated the 500th anniversary of Columbus' discovery of the New World, this same group of American Israelites, the Sephardim, shed tears for nearly 2,000 other Sephardim. The true Sephardim, for the most part, had no idea that they were even Israelites. All right, who were expelled in 1492 from the country in which they lived for many centuries. The Sephardim in Americas, in the first collective efforts to interpret the long journey from Spain to the Western Hemisphere by the grandchildren of the Spanish expulsion. So the Spanish expulsion was the removal of the Sephardim. And who was that? The Morenos, the Moors, and the Moriscos. And they were referred to by Ben Franklin as the Palatine Boers. As the Palatine Boers. All right. So it says right here, also, a Moreno. This is from Etymology Dictionary Online. Etymology meaning truth in words. The true meaning of words. A Moreno, all right? It says a Jew. We're going to say Judean. Or a Moor. A Moor in Spain. That was a Moreno to avoid publicly professed conversion. They profess conversion to Christianity while privately continue to practice, meaning following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. All right. The beliefs of their own religions. 1580s from Spanish, probably literally pig, swine, expression, contempt for Arabic, Mahan, forbidden thing. All right. So basically, a lot of these Moors and Moriscos, because the Moors basically were Israelites who had converted to Islam. All right. That's it. So they had nothing to do physically with being Ishmaelites, Arabs. These were so-called Negroes, black people, who were ruling over Spain and Portugal, and for that matter, the majority of Europe. And Benjamin Franklin is about to prove it when you read his letter. So I'm back in his letter. And verse 24, it reads, which leads me to add the remark that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. All of Africa is black or tawny. Remember, they replaced the word swarthy. I should have put that up on the screen. They replaced the word swarthy with black. All right, because black refers to skin color. All right, and black will be someone who's chocolate, like a dark Indian or a dark African, all the way up to someone who's in tawny. All right, so swarthy covers all that, all the way up to someone who's light complected. That's like a light brown, what they would call yellow or red bone. That will be someone who's tawny. Okay, like your average, light brown skinned Hispanic or Negro. Okay, but it says the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. All of Africa is black or tawny. Asia chiefly tawny. America, exclusive the newcomers, wholly so. So he's calling everybody in America was swarthy, was black or tawny. All right, except the newcomers, who the Edomites. Okay, the Ashkenazi that were coming over in hordes. All right, in the 1830s and in the 1700s. It says, Asia tawny, the French, the Russian, the Swedes generally are what we call swarthy complexion. And you hear that? Read it. Let me read it again. The Russians, the Swedes are generally what we call, let me go back. As also in Europe, the Spaniards, the Italians, the French, the Russians, the Swedes are generally what we call swarthy in complexion, as are the Germans also. the Saxon only, which is a lie, who with the English make up the principal body of white people in the face of the earth. So, that's just when basically Cromwell and the Edomites were removing the Morenos, Moors, Moriscos, the Jacobites from Ireland, Scotland, and Britain, and then claiming to be Saxons themselves. So Esau is basically, this is the hijack. All right. So and then it says he wanted to clear the woods in America of these people. So now that we've got that understanding, we got more. Let's go. And he called them Palatine. These Palatine boards. He said that in this letter. So let's read a Palatine board, possessing quasi privileges pertaining to the palace, the mid-century counties ruled by a lord of privileges resembling those of an independent sovereign. So when you look up the coats of arms and it shows you all these black royal families in the coats of arms in J.R. Rogers' book, Nature Knows No Color Line, he's saying, well, they're claiming to be royals, but they're not. And he just admitted in his letter that they were ruling in France and throughout Europe, Sweden, Italy, all these places where these Moriscos were. All right. And he said they were quasi-royalty. All right. So here's the word quasi. As if it were used in introducing proposed for possible explanation. All right. Used in Latin and hypothetical comparison. So basically, there's no way these people who are royals could be royals just because they're ruling France, Russia, Germany, Italy, Sweden. All right. So, and you would never, and Germany. And he said that, why should we make America dark when we can make it light? And then he also called them boars. Middle English boar, a boar is an uncastrated male swine from prototype German. So back here, he called the Morenos. That's what the word Moreno went. Arabic Moharan, forbidden thing, eating pork. They would call them swine, which is something that Arab, an Israelite or a Muslim would never do. All right. Here's the next word, Moor. All these are from Etemon Online Dictionary. North African Berber, one the face to dwell in Barbary, Salakia. From medieval Latin, Moris, going back to Moor, inhabitant of Mauritania, Roman Northwest Africa region corresponding to northern Nigeria or Morocco. It says now corresponding. See, they try to, because you ask them now, they try to say that well, that's talking about Morocco. Now it's referred, just like the word nigger. All right, now is a word of contempt. When before the word nigger was simple as saying the word Moor or Moreno or Moriscos. It just was simply describing someone who was black, as it tells you right here. Perhaps a native name or else cognate with Moris, black. That's all it means. Okay? And so they tried to hide all that. Here's Moriscos now. These were all the people who were kicked out of Portugal and Spain. When you read in this book here, all right, when he talked about when Columbus sailed in 1492, the expulsion of the Moriscos, as pertaining to the Moorish designs from Spanish Morisco, from Moor, see Moor, and compare Morisco. All right. So these are talking about the Negroes, the Sephardic Israelites who were called the Sephardim, and how they came and helped build the Americas. And so these were our people, but they were also very traitorous because they actually helped oppress, in a lot of cases, especially the ones here in America, their own people when they came here. Taking they were setting up the deals with the natives, and then they were also, instead of trying to free the ones that were being brought here from the west coast of Africa, their people that got scattered there, they actually, some of these Moors and Morenos actually owned slave plantations until Esau turned on them, and now look at them. They're mixed in with the rest of the population, and they're just a bunch of nobodies. All right. But, history lies. And that's basically going to be the name of this video. And Esau Edom is being revealed. All right. History lies and Esau Edom is being revealed. And I got this psycho who keeps calling me and harassing me. That's one of the brother's exes. But let me grab this scripture real quick. The truth is just coming out, man. And it's coming out hard. You can't hide the truth forever. And and these people thought that they would be able to stand on these lies forever. Luke 12 and 2, and it reads, "For there is nothing covered, there shall not be revealed, neither hid, there shall not come, there shall not be known. Call halal Yahweh Shalom Shai, Bahasham Rakak Badash, Kwam Yasharala Shalom."